Hi, my name is Abu Siddiq. Today I'm going to talk about a life of undocumented immigrant in the United States. I have done some research about undocumented immigrants negatively, even though they have a positive perspective to live their life in the United States. But still, there is many undocumented immigrants who had a difficulty to finding a jobs, fear of being deportations and abusing. So first, I'm going to discuss about the life of undocumented immigrants have a difficulty to finding a jobs, which is according to the article, undocumented worker journ's reality that mentioning that many undocumented immigrants who live their life, who live their family in home back home for finding a better job to survive their family in a back home and in order to have a better life in the United States. For example, like one of my friends who came to the United States illegally, he really had a difficulty to finding a job. That he also mentioned that there is many workplace that he don't get equal payments. He have to work more than 8 hours in order to make fair amount of money. And also there is a article also mentioning that many undocumented immigrants who came to the United States is to finding a better job, to finding a better life, for them to set up their career in order to start their family in a back home. Also there is all many restrictions when they came to the United States, that also like there is no freedom for them, like such as when they place a work that they don't have any other choice to replace the work because they know it's really hard for them to finding a job. So this is that's the negative impact for finding a jobs in the United States for them in the Second, I'm going to talk about the pair of being deportations. According to the articles, the effects of deportation on family and community. There is a lot of mentioned that in the United States, the past 3 decades, with the 40,000 people being deported from the country in 2017, whereas including in the individual families are being separated from the childrens and communities that are neglected, all the undocumented immigrants that they feel insecure about them, but which is not really true about them. So losing a family is very mental depressed for the childrens, and it also affects a lot of families who live in back homes because they choose their life to come in here in order to survive their family in a back home, which is really hard for them when they're being deported. That is really affect negatively for undocumented immigrants. Lastly, I'm going to talk about the abuse. So there is many types of abuse for undocumented immigrants. So I'm going to talk three pairs that undocumented really facing. First, they get abused in the workplace. Second, they get abuse from the medical treatment. Lastly, they get abuse from the sexual abuse and sexual harassment in the workplace. So many employee have take their life, take their life at risk, like injury. If they get injuries, there is no responsible for them, who can get treatment as well. And also the medical treatments, they refuse them. They are not eligible to purchase health insurance from the federal or the state marketplace, which is really hard for them to having a treatment that is not fair, like if we think humanity. And also they get sexually abusing in the workplace. Many bosses or manager are doing some inappropriate touch with them, so they know that they can, she or he can report it, because they know it's very risk for them to losing a job, and it's really hard for them to finding another job. So overall, we learned that there is many impact for the negative. Many negative impact for the undocumented immigrants, which is really hard for them to survive. But there is many reasons they live in here, just to put their life at risk, to like their risk to survive their family in a back home, to finding a better life. Thank you.